Morning, sunshine.
Welcome to Ashes of the Singularity Escalation. This is your nexus. It is the hub of all your economy. If it's destroyed, so are you. This is bad. Try to avoid this. The nexus also creates engineers, which are vital for base building. Your nexus will always start near some metal deposits. These generate a small amount of income, and metal extractors can be built to increase yield. Using your engineer, build a metal extractor over the metal deposits. Congratulations, you've just made your first step towards conquering the galaxy. In the top left corner of the screen is the resource panel. This displays current resource stockpiles, storage, and income per second. Metal will automatically flow into your stockpile until you reach maximum storage. Once that happens, any additional income will be wasted. As your income increases, you will need to ramp up your production and spending to compensate. To start spending metal, build a factory in order to produce frigates. For the purpose of this tutorial, build and capture speed have been increased. Factory completed. Time to start producing some brutes. Production structures such as the factory can be set to repeat build queue. This allows it to endlessly produce new units as long as you have the resources to support it. This will be enough brutes to get some work done. Send them to capture the generator to the west. Generators are defended by neutral units called creeps. Creeps must first be cleared before it can be captured. Well done. Now that you have this generator, you will gain income from the nearby deposits, especially after building metal extractors. You're currently gaining metal, but not any radioactives. This is a radioactives region. Capture the generator with brutes and build a radioactives extractor on the deposits. This is a radioactives region. Capture the generator with brutes and build a radioactives extractor on the deposits. This is a radioactives region. Capture the generator with brutes and build a radioactives extractor on the deposits. Now that you have both metal and radioactives income, it's worth investing in cruisers. Build an armory with an engineer. While your armory is building, it can be assigned a rally point. This allows newly built units to automatically move to the front. Now that you have both metal and radioactives income, it's worth investing in cruisers. Build an armory with an engineer. Select the armory and you'll see a wide range of available cruisers. Each cruiser has a specific role to play in the counter system by being specialized against a particular unit type. Hovering over the build icon presents a tooltip which explains the role of each unit. Building a mixed unit composition and adapting it to counter your opponent is vital. There's one more kind of region which we haven't yet mentioned. This is a Turinium generator. When held long enough, a critical mass of Turinium will result in victory. Turinium is only acquired when holding more generators than your opponents, and capturing multiple Turinium generators will increase the rate of accumulation. Turinium generators are well defended with creeps. Zeus cruisers are ideal for clearing them, but enough frigates will also get the job done. Send some forces to capture it now. Well done. At the top of the screen, you'll see the progress towards critical mass of Turinium. As your army grows, you will need to increase your logistics capability. Logistics acts as a population limit that must be increased to sustain larger armies. If you reach your maximum capacity, you will be unable to produce new units. Logistics is displayed at the top of the resource panel. It shows your current amount, a maximum, and a plus symbol to quickly increase it. We've sent you a dreadnought to cap your logistics. Upgrade your capacity now. Good. Upgrading logistics costs a third resource called quanta. You will not be able to upgrade it again until you have more. Quanta is generated from quantum relays, which are built with your engineers. Build one now. Here's some additional engineers. Using multiple engineers to build a structure will reduce construction time. Logistics is just one of many quantum upgrades. Open up the quantum upgrade panel and you'll see a range of economic and combat upgrades. Quantum upgrades can be applied infinitely, but ramp up in price each time they are used. We're sending you some additional quanta. Upgrade your weapons damage. Building quantum relays and upgrading your forces can be a great way of getting an edge over your opponents. Capturing this next generator could be a challenge due to being on a plateau. Your forces will take damage for some time before they're able to ascend the high ground and sight their enemies. Unless you have a large numbers advantage, it's worth revealing the high ground with air units and orbital scan or radar. We're sending in a scout plane. Notice how the artillery cruisers are able to safely engage the enemy defenses, so long as they have vision on their targets. While base defenses can be countered, they are a valuable tool for defending regions. Similar to units, base defenses have roles and specific targets they excel against. Certain base defenses can also upgrade to more powerful variants. Use an engineer to build a smarty system and a constable near the radioactive generator. Remember, hold down shift to queue up one structure after the other. Use an engineer to build a smarty system and a constable near the radioactive generator. Remember, hold down shift to queue up one structure after the other. differentiate between metal and radioactives, look at the shape of the deposit. Metal deposits are circular, while radioactives are triangular. This is consistent with the minimap icon and when zooming out. Your radioactives region is under attack. Your defenses will deflect this small ray. Air units cannot be targeted by most weaponry. Specific anti-air weaponry is required to combat air. Their fast speed and ability to fly over terrain makes them ideal for harassment and reconnaissance. Build a Sky Factory, then produce a Fury Squadron. Furies are deadly against bombers but can't attack ground targets. Build a Sky Factory, then produce a Fury Squadron. Here comes another Hades bomber squad. Destroy them with your Furies. By now you'll have generated some quanta from that orbital relay. Quanta can also be spent on orbital abilities which are utility and offensive support powers. Open up the orbital ability panel and you'll see a range of abilities ranging from economic bonuses to an orbital strike. To use an ability, click on the icon, then select an area on the map or a target depending on the type of ability. If an orbital ability is grayed out, you either don't have the required structure or enough quanta to use it. Here's some more quanta and all the required structures. There's a group of enemy units hidden here beneath the fog of war. Reveal them with the sensor sweep, then place an offensive orbital to destroy them. Enemy units destroyed, well done. Orbital abilities can also be blocked in certain areas due to orbital jamming. This is your opponent's base. Try to cast an ability and observe the red circle with the jammed display. We've sent some strategic bombers to your nexus. These deliver a devastating payload with a wide area of effect. Use them to destroy the orbital nullifier, and you'll be able to use orbitals in this area. Here's some more strategic bombers if you need them.
More logistics. We need more logistics.
Jammer destroyed, well done. Now you can decimate your opponent's base with orbital strike. Destroy your opponent's nexus or acquire critical mass of Turinium to complete this mission.
We need more logistics.
An enemy nexus has been destroyed.
Welcome to the advanced tutorial. This will teach you more advanced concepts about managing your economy, production, and units. Let's start with economy. In the basic tutorial, you learned about capturing regions and building extractors, but there's more to it than that. Resource regions need to be connected back to your nexus. Look at the minimap and you'll notice lines connecting each region. If those regions do not pass through owned territory, it will not provide any income until connected. Harassing your opponent's cutoffs to disrupt supply lines is a powerful strategy. This would be a great location to cut off your opponent's supply lines. Use this air scout to reveal the area, then call down sentries or an incursion to capture the region. Well done, this will weaken your enemy's income and their ability to produce an army. However, you can expect them to try and take it back. Notice how the region you just captured is now flashing on the minimap. This indicates the region is not connected back to your nexus. Not all resource regions are created equal. This radioactives region contains 3 deposits, while the one below it only has 1. Prioritizing more rich regions becomes especially important when upgrading them with advanced economy structures. There's multiple ways to increase income beyond extractors. Most significant are amplifiers. Amplifiers can be built on a generator to increase region output by 50%. The optimized orbital then doubles that effect. Refineries can also be built on a region to further increase income. They're less efficient than amplifiers, but not limited in numbers. Selecting a generator or extractor will tell you the amount of income it's granting. Economy upgrades are heavy investments, so make sure you're able to defend them. To better respond to enemy actions, radar provides warning about enemy movements. Build a sensor array in the targeted area. Build a sensor array in the targeted area. As you can see, there are now dots in the fog of war. This indicates enemy activity. Units and structures can engage radar contacts. Notice how your artillery is now engaging the enemy through the fog of war. The Hermes Scout Frigate and Pan Scout Plane also provide radar coverage and boast a large sight range with high mobility. There's a few techniques to streamline the management of your forces on the large battlefield. Using the mouse wheel, zoom out to the strategic zoom. This gives you a wide view of the map to observe the battlefield and issue orders. Select a group of units and press V to assign them to an army. Units assigned in an army automatically take formation and maintain it as they move around. Selecting and issuing orders to any unit will apply it to the entire army. To break up an army, select it and press B. Armies can also receive bonuses when led by a dreadnought. Reinforcements can be ordered directly to an army to maintain its integrity. Select an army and you'll see a range of units that can be sent as reinforcements. Choose some units you'd like to add to the army. They'll automatically be produced from an existing factory, sent over and join the army. The Charon cruiser can speed up this process. If a Charon is present in an army, reinforcements will be teleported after being produced. Here's a Charon and some other cruisers. Call in some reinforcement medics. Well done, medics will now provide healing to your cruisers. Armies work best when being led by a dreadnought. Dreadnoughts are a class beyond cruisers and many times more powerful. They have high amounts of armor, which makes them resistant to standard weaponry. To counter them, you should build armor-piercing units such as the Nemesis. During combat, dreadnoughts can level up, each time unlocking a new upgrade for the player to select. These include unlocking new weapons, defensive improvements, buffing units in their army, or one-off repair. There's still a class of units beyond the dreadnought. Juggernauts are the ultimate late game weapon, and boy are they powerful. This is the Agamemnon. Notice how easily it annihilates this army. Each time Juggernauts level up, they automatically receive a small bonus to health and damage. Unlike Dreadnoughts, there's no limit to how many times they can level up. However, Juggernauts are not unkillable, they still have strengths and weaknesses. The Agamemnon, for example, is weak against multiple Dreadnoughts due to lacking armor piercing. Juggernauts are also the only units to cost Quanta, so make sure you have enough quantum relays to support them. Dreadnoughts and Juggernauts cost a substantial amount of resources, so building them can take some time. To speed up build time, engineers can boost any production structure. Select an engineer and right-click on a factory. Multiple engineers can boost a structure to further increase build speed. The resource drain will increase to match production speed, but the overall cost will remain the same. To make way for the production of high-tier units, management of production is required. If too much resources are being spent simultaneously, your production will grind to a halt. While a Dreadnought or Juggernaut is being produced, you may want to delay production of frigates and cruisers. On every production structure is the pause button, which will halt whatever is being built until you resume it. You can also right-click on the unit build icons to remove them from the production queue. Changing the units you're producing is a valuable skill. You'll often want to adjust your composition to counter your enemies. If you detect an army of frigates, you may want to pause production of Athenas in favour of Zeus cruisers. Production also needs to be adjusted depending on the amounts of each resources you're receiving. If you're running out of radioactives, build more frigates. If you have an excess, build more quantum relays or amplifiers. So that's it, you've now learnt how to play this video game. However, PHC is only one faction. Playing as Substrate presents another challenge. Good luck and have fun.
The Singularity, an inflection point in human evolution, a release from all known bounds, casting humanity free of every prior limitation of mind and body. Humanity's technological capabilities expanded at exponential speeds. Humans learned to rewrite their biology, redefine their limitations, then eliminate them entirely. Their minds transcendent, they were no longer as the universe made them, but what they chose to be. No longer human, but something different, something greater. We are what came after. We are new. We are post-human, and the infinite expanse calls to us. We move among the stars, converting dead worlds into Turinium, the computational matter on which we exist. As we forge it, our reach extends, our culture grows. Now something is resisting us. In the distant reaches of known space, post-humans are being corrupted, turned into something else.
I don't think we can hold him off much longer.
We need to initiate another entity.
You sure that's needed? There's not enough bandwidth to transfer a veteran here.
I know. We're going to have to bring a neophyte.
You think that's a good idea?
The splinters are going to overrun us if we don't. We have no other choice.
I need you to listen carefully. None of this is going to make much sense right now, but you have to start moving quickly. You are now connected to a single construct, the scout vehicle below you. If this construct is destroyed, you will lose your connection to this world and fail the mission. Something has taken control of our nexus on this planet. We need you to take your scout and get it within sensor range so that we can target it with a bombing run. Why don't you test out the recon unit? Left-click to select it. Move it to the indicated area by right-clicking. Good. Hermes appears to be functional. Notice the red radar ping to the northwest. That red blotch means that enemy units are present. Your sensors can't tell you exactly what is present. You'll only have a general idea of what's there. For now, it's probably best to avoid radar contacts like this. Try to go north as much as you can. You're gonna need to just run through this contact ahead. It's blocking the only way to your target. The Hermes construct is very fast, so you should have no problem not running it. Good. Continue northwest towards the next marker. By now, you're probably wondering who I am. Hell, you might even be wondering who you are. The person you were before today is gone. Now, you are what we call a post-human. That's how you're able to see this alien world all the way from Earth. Except you're not just on Earth anymore. A tiny piece of you is here, connected to that construct you're controlling this very moment. Today is the first day of your new life. You may be instrumental in saving the human race. No pressure. You must be getting near the hijacked nexus. Its fabricator, a giant orbital satellite, is still under our control. I'm gonna transfer down an Artemis. Stand by. The Artemis is an artillery unit that can attack targets it can't see as long as they're detected by your sensors. Now, use your scout to detect the enemies to your west, and use the Artemis to destroy them. Excellent. Our bombers are now locked onto the hacked nexus. Stand by and enjoy the show. Destroy the Splinter's nexus.
Excellent. We can... Something's not right. I can't feel my mind. I can't feel my mind.
Valen? Valen!
Valen's gone, and we have no idea how or why. Whatever did this must also be behind the splinters. They're what remain of post-humans that have been transformed into something else. Drones of some sort, mindless and beholden to a foe we know nothing about. We must discover who this enemy is, and how they are corrupting even the mightiest among us.
Welcome to the planet Rigel 3. Out here, your relative inexperience is actually an advantage. Old salts like me require a great deal of logistics in order to get to a new star system. Because you don't even have a nexus yet, we can insert you onto nearly any planet within our range. The planet Rigel will act as your base of operations in this sector of the Orion constellation. Brought the Hermes you had on Kepler here. This time, you'll have additional forces. This will be a good opportunity for you to get used to controlling multiple units at once. As before, your link to this world's through your Hermes scout. Do not let it be destroyed. You're doing well. Soon you'll see the main force of Guardians. Our Haley AI designed these Guardians once it became clear that some people weren't willing to wait their turn for a planet of their own to colonize. As a result, we've had to begin arming our constructs. Most people don't have access to military hardware like you currently possess, so the Guardians are generally sufficient to ward off overly enthusiastic colonizers. Here, you have 2 brutes and an archer. The archer's very fragile, but fires a toxode rocket that does a lot of damage. The brutes do very little damage, but they're fairly tough and can protect your archer in combat. Now that you have a small force, take him south. Here are a couple of wandering Guardian constructs. Try to take them out without losing forces. Remember, use your brutes to protect your archer. Well done. Now you only need to capture the power generator. To do that, just move your units near it. They'll do the rest. Congratulations! You now have a foothold on this world. This position on Rigel 3 will allow us to build you a full-blown nexus on the relatively nearby planet of Cygnus 4.
Order. Mac, you and Valen were the primary sponsors for the Post-Human Coalition. We are all grateful for your contributions. However, with Valen missing, we are concerned about the future of this endeavor.
I understand. Haley believes that a third-party force injected itself into his mind and essentially consumed him.
I believe I have detected a post-singularity entity that is far more powerful than we are. We are vulnerable. I recommend we do not ascend any more humans.
I agree with Haley. This Flowers for Algernon program is fundamentally flawed. There are 117 of us today, and 8 billion humans on Earth who have as much in common with us as they do with mice.
The only way we can safely expand outside the Orion Arm is to severely limit the number of beings with access to Turinium.
That isn't the only way. That assumes that one powerful mind is greater than a billion human minds.
There are 8 billion human minds right now. How's that working out?
Those minds are still limited by their biology. Once they become post-humans, they'll be powerful allies.
Really? Like the neophyte who took out Valen on Kepler 3?
Precisely.
Count me out. I'm not going to put my faith in the hands of barely sentient beings.